the Lexus Sports Extra with Josh Moser, Mike DiPasquale, Donovan Campbell, and Drew Rosenhaus.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike DiPasquale. We welcome you to the Lexus Sports Extra. It will be a battle of two winless teams at the Rock tomorrow night. The Dolphins come in as a 2.5-point favorite against the Jets. Tua did throw for 2 touchdowns in that loss at Buffalo. Overall, the Finns did play better despite the loss that dropped them to 0-3. The Dolphins say they are not listening to any of the outside noise predicting doom and gloom for this team moving forward. Right now, it's all about sticking together, everyone, to start to turn the season around.
Team morale is very hungry to play this next game. I had a great week of practice. I think they're focused on 11 players playing as one. Morale is pretty high because your collective focus is going in one direction. So that's what they're worried about, and that's what I'm worried about. So morale is focused.
No one is happy with the 0-3 start, and no one expected this. Not the coaches, not the players, and we know all Dol fans. Now, at times, the Finns did show they can play some good football, but the problem is they're not just consistent enough to get a W. Things must change against the Jets tomorrow night.
I think in a way the guys look at it as we're kind of tired of talking about it. Like, we got to do something about it, and we got to be able to show what we've been talking about throughout training camp, throughout OTAs, because all of that is not translating to stacking wins for us. So I think that's what the gist of this game is.
Extra points.
Joining us as always, Drew Rosenhaus. How you doing, Drew?
Great, Mike. And yourself?
Oh, I could not be better, especially on this Sunday night. All right, let's get it started. Your client, Darren Waller, set to make his Finns debut tomorrow night. What can we expect from the one-time Pro Bowl tight end?
Well, I'm certainly not in a position to divulge any strategic information relative to Darren and the game tomorrow night, but certainly it'll be a big lift for the Dolphins to get Darren back on the field. Well, really for the first time. I think it's going to be a big lift for this team, and this is going to be big for Tua to get the tight end position back into prominence in the offense, and I think that Darren is going to be a big contributor.
You're so diplomatic. That's why we love you, Drew, with your answers. All right, in terms of the psyche of this team, this game, they're 0-3. Is it a must-win?
It is a must-win, Mike. There's no question about it, and you really can't lose to division rivals at home. The Dolphins already lost one to New England at home. Cannot lose this game to the Jets. Cannot go 0-4. Got to get the win. If you're the Dolphins, the Jets are feeling the same way. I think this Dolphin football team obviously is capable of winning this game, but they're going to have to play like they did against the Bills, and certainly much better than they did in their first 2 games.
I want to follow up by saying this. Tua cut to the chase this week. He said, quote, "We've got to stop talking about it and simply do it." Based on that, and based on what you just said, you feel they have enough tomorrow night to finally get that first win of the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that this football team is really suffering with injuries on the offensive line. It's hard to win in this league without a full complement of your offensive linemen. But they have the ability with guys like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane to make a lot of plays, to score a lot of points. There's a lot of good football players on this team. But the reality is this team's got the potentiality to win this football game tomorrow night.
Drew, let me ask you finally, we've seen what has happened in the first 3 games. Is this Miami Dolphins team capable of putting together a winning streak and I may add, in a hurry to turn this season around?
Yeah, I think when you look at their schedule, it's a very, it's a very manageable schedule for this team to certainly get back to 500. There are a lot of players from last season when they were 1-7 and battled their way back to being a very competitive team down the stretch. I think that everyone remembers that and has confidence that they can make up ground from this 0-3 start. And that you got to take it one game at a time. They've got to start with a win tomorrow night. They played very well at Buffalo. They've got to play well tomorrow night. That's how you treat it each and every week.
Drew, thank you. Always providing the politically correct answers, but the great insight. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Mike. Have a great night.
Must watch television when we have Drew. Around the NFL, we had plenty of Soap Flow pros stepping up in week 4.
Time now for Lexus SoFlo Pros.
We begin James Cook, the former Miami Central High star. The Buffalo running back was cooking. 22 carries, he had 117 yards and a touchdown against New Orleans. Cook helped the Bills, now 4-0, beat the winless Saints, 31-19 in the final. Cook, the two-time Pro Bowler, breaks the Bills' franchise record for consecutive games with a rushing touchdown at 8 games.
I mean, it's good, just some of the guys that had the record, like Diamond and those type of guys, it says a special thing, just to have your name in the record book, especially.
More Soap Flow pros. Jaden Higgins, a former Westminster Christian High star, Houston receiver, only 1 catch for 24 yards and a TD. His first career NFL touchdown. Texans beat the Titans 26-0. Soap Flow pros. Tyreek Stevenson, a former University of Miami star. He had this interception picked off fellow Soap Flow pro Geno Smith. The Bears beat the Las Vegas Raiders 25-24. We have more. Taquan Thornton, the one-time Booker T. Washington Senior High star. 11-yard TD catch against Baltimore. Back-to-back weeks with TDs for the Kansas City receiver. Just do the happy dance. And finally, how about Tutu Atwell, the former Miami Northwestern High star, wide open for his 88-yard receiving touchdown for the LA Rams. Only catch for him, the Rams beat the Colts 27-20. The Rams improved to 3-1. Saturday night, Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee will be rocking with over 79,000 fans. Both Miami and Florida State have dropped in the latest AP poll before their matchup. The Ohio State University remains numero uno. Oregon jumped Miami at number 2 with the win at then number 3 Penn State. The Canes are now number 3. Florida State drops from number 8 to 18 after the double overtime loss at Virginia on Friday. Your Florida Panthers are beginning life without their captain, Aleksander Barkov. Tomorrow night, the Cats host Carolina in a preseason game. The season home opener is a week from Tuesday against Chicago. On Thursday, Sasha goes down on the ice during a non-contact drill at training camp. Barkey suffered an ACL and MCL injury to his right knee. He had surgery on Friday. Now the Panthers will be without 2 of their star players in Barkey and Chucky. Luckily, this team has a lot of depth. It's the next man up.
In the regular season, and there's could be some injuries, guys going in and out of lineup, and the next guy up that can step up and fill the role and play the role as well as the whoever's out of the lineup is the key. So it's good for us that we have that kind of depth.
We are joined by the one and only George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. And Panther fans, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hey, George, thanks for being with us, and let's get it started here.
Hi, Mike.
The Panthers say 7 to 9 months recovery time for Aleksander Barkov after the knee injury suffered at training camp. In your opinion, I know you're not a doctor, but is there a chance he will be ready in time for the playoffs?
I mean, the Florida Panthers certainly hope that Sasha Barkov will be, healthy enough to be ready for the playoffs. But he had his MCL and his ACL surgically repaired. I just don't think that's going to be in the cards. I don't know. That is just such a serious injury. So much had to be done to that knee. I do not think he'll be ready for the playoffs. I think Sasha Barkov's season is over.
So with that said, will general manager Bill Zito, will he need to make a move now with Sasha out and Chucky out for a while? And if he does, who do you think they can sign?
I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because we're just now starting the NHL season. We're going to have to wait and see. Once we start getting closer to the NHL trade deadline, we start seeing some teams drop out of playoff contention. There might be some players available. Florida, if they decide that Sasha Barkov is not going to be ready to play in the playoffs at all, they'll put him on long-term injury reserve. They'll get his entire $10 million contract. They'll be able to use that money to acquire new players. But we've seen it before. The Florida Panthers don't have a whole lot of draft capital to trade, but Bill Zito's been able to pull some pretty good things out of his hat.
Well, with Sasha being out now, George, who will be on that top line to replace him?
Right now, it's Sam Bennett. It's Sam Reinhart. and it's Carter Verhaeghe. So your new top line is just Bennett basically taking Sasha Barkov's spot. Anton Lundell's line moves up to the second line, and then the third and the fourth lines are changing up a little bit.
So with injuries to Barkey and Chucky, can this team still compete for a cup to make it a three-peat?
It's certainly going to be difficult. Now, Matthew Tkachuk, you have to assume, is going to be back. He's supposed to be back in January. He'll play in the Olympics. He should be fine for the playoffs. Sasha Barkov being out is tough because it's not just his leadership. It's not just his offensive skill. I mean, he does everything for the Florida Panthers. There's a laundry list of things that Sasha Barkov does that the Florida Panthers cannot replace. It's going to be very tough for Florida right now. They were the favorites in Vegas. Now they've dropped down to 5th, 6th, or 7th in the pecking order. So Vegas doesn't think Florida can repeat. But the Florida Panthers are loaded. So if any team can make it through this and compete for the Stanley Cup, it's the Florida Panthers.
And the Cats players have been saying they'll need to rally around each other. Now, let me ask you this. Will Brad Marchand, the one-time captain for the Boston Bruins, can he take over that role, or will there be another player taking over that captain's role?
See, that's the beauty part about the Panthers. It's not, yes, Sasha Barkov is the captain of the Panthers, but he's not like, there's not some mountain where, he's at the top of it. There are so many leaders on this Florida Panther team that it was a collective effort before. That's why you could have a guy like Sasha Barkov be your team captain. He's a very quiet guy. He's a guy who leads by example. But sometimes you need that rah-rah guy, and that's Matthew Tkachuk. Sometimes you need a kick in the pants. That's Sam Reinhart. So the Florida Panthers have those guys who can step into the vacuum, a vacuum that really isn't there because it was already, Florida's already had that leadership from other players.
It's going to be interesting, George. It starts a week from Tuesday night against Chicago. Actually, a 5 o'clock start.
5 o'clock, happy hour, early bird supper, whatever you want to call it. Opening day.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Mikey.
George is always a voice of reason when it comes to the Panthers. When we come back, Florida has girls high school flag football teams, while one young lady is playing defensive tackle for the boys Fort Lauderdale high school team. Could the Marlins play the role of spoiler for the Mets who look for that final National League wildcard spot? We'll show you what happened in Game 3 as the Fish wrapped up the season today. Stay with us.